Hey guys, welcome to my video. This is 12 cheap ways that I'm wellness maxing, being a city girl. So I've been getting into wellness in the last couple of years. I think a lot of people got interested in it when we're confined during the pandemic. So I've tried a bunch of things, and honestly, like, some things really changed my life, changed my quality of life, changed how I was feeling. And I just want to share with you guys because I think sharing is caring. I consume a lot of content that has to do with wellness, and most of the people doing this content, obviously they live in rural places, they live within nature, and I think that's amazing, and I wish that for all of us. But I think in reality, realistically, I mean, I'm a student in London, so I go to uni and I have to, London is a very busy city. So that's when I think it's even more important to create those little moments of peace, create those little rituals, especially as women. We thrive on rituals, we thrive on routines. So I think more than ever, it's important when you live in a big city is to find those moments for yourself. So as a disclaimer, I'm not a health professional. These are things that I have tried myself and that has worked for me. Obviously, these are things that you need to try with yourself and see how it is. But that's the thing with holistic methods, is the only way you can find whether it works or not is with primary evidence mainly. So I don't want to go on for too long. I'll probably make more of this series because wellness these days come with a price tag. I want to be able to share some ways that you can feel better, that are cheap and are very efficient. So here are the things that work for me, and some of them you might not have heard of because I did my own research, and these are things that really make me feel good. So please do them because it's very important if you live in a city and you want to be well. All right. So my first tip is probably my most favorite, and you can get this at your local grocery store. It doesn't have to do with eating, but it's something I've been doing recently, and I find it's been really helping, especially if you're someone active, and that is taking a sea salt bath. So I was using the Molten, I think it's called, the brand before, but I've been switching to Zaytun because it's a brand from Palestine. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a bath, a pretty warm bath, and just that in itself, I think is really good to just have a moment for yourself in warm water. But the sea salt, what it does is it really relaxes your muscles. So if you're into fitness, if you work out a lot and you have a lot of muscle tightness, this can really help, especially if you have like skin issues like eczema or sensitive skin. The salt is really gonna help soothe your skin. So I do it in the evening, and it really puts me to sleep. If you struggle with insomnia or you find your mind is very active in the evening, I highly recommend trying it. So these have physical as well as mental health benefits. I also like to put some essential oils in my bath so it smells really good. So even though I would like to do this every single day, it's not recommended to do it more than twice a week because it can dry out your skin if you do it too much. So I pour about a half a cup to a cup of sea salt in my bath, and I just let it dilute while the water fills up the tub. And yeah, you just soak in for 20-30 minutes and you can enjoy the full benefits. So my second way I'm wellness maxing in a city is really listening to my body and myself. One thing that I'm trying to do is be more flexible, and I found that hip stretching and hip opening really helps you deal with burden emotions or burden stresses. So what I do is, usually I do on my yoga mat upstairs, but you can also do it in bed. So it's very convenient. And you're just going to do the frog pose, or in other terms, it's basically just laying with your legs open and bent and really pushing your hips forward with your body weight. So a lot of people in the holistic community have been saying that women carry a lot of stress and emotional worries in our hips area. So I think it's really important to stretch the hips, and you can do this every single day. You can do it every other day. It really doesn't matter, and it's very easy to implement. So the third way is I'm wellness maxing in a city. This is something, again, that I've been trying to do recently, but it's to watch the sunset. So this is going to be really good for anyone that struggles with insomnia or just sleep problems. So what that will do, it will help you regulate your circadian rhythm, and it will help you get up in the morning. It will help you fall asleep and calm your mind in the evenings, and it doesn't cost anything. I think I'll add to this video like the cost of doing these 12 things, just so you can see how cheap these ways are and how efficient they are. If you do try any of these, please let me know how good they feel and if I'm crazy or if it has worked for you as well. So the 4 ways I'm wellness maxing in a city is walking as my form of cardio. So if you do not have access to a gym, if you're not someone that wants to train super hard, that is totally fine. And so there have been a couple studies recently that have been coming out testing how high intensity training can affect women's cortisol. And they've been showing that women's cortisol spikes when they do when they do high rocks, especially if they're not eating well enough to support those exercises. So I think this is why in the last few years, some activities such as yoga and Pilates and just much more gentle forms of exercise have been quite popular for women. So I will try to get in at least 5,000 to 15,000 steps per day. And also you are avoiding very busy transportation, which can again spike your stress, make you feel overstimulated. So I think just walking, not even walking fast, can be so beneficial. So the 5th way I'm wellness maxing, this is something I've been doing for over a year, and it's dry brushing. And I love dry brushing because why I love it so much is because you invite a moment of calm, a moment of rest to just feel your own body and just really understand how your lymphatic system works and really understand how your body detoxes, as well as exfoliating your skin. So I've never had softer skin, honestly, than when I've been dry brushing. This has improved the texture of my skin so much. So if you have strawberry skin, again, if you have skin conditions like eczema, this can help get rid of those things. So my 6th way that I'm wellness maxing is to make your space beautiful. And what I mean by that is, so it is shown that when women are in a space surrounded by beauty, by cleanness, by just aesthetically beautiful objects, it is soothing for the nervous system. And even having sensory things such as very fuzzy blankets and just focusing on coziness, and also having lots of natural light. I just love when wellness goes back to like ancient traditions. So my next trick is to understand the power of oils, especially essential oils and natural oils, to help treat any concerns that you have. The power of scent is very potent when it comes to dealing with stress, dealing with worries. So scents such as sandalwood, lavender. I have this little spray that I use to put on the pillows before going to sleep. So it's really all about creating these little rituals for you that will help you cope with the stress of having to work, having to go to school, having to interact with people out in public. So these things really do help, and just helping you sleep better, recover better. Not only that, but especially with oils. So the ones that I use the most are jojoba oil, sweet almond oil, calendula oil, and argan oil. And how I will use these oils, usually after a shower, when I moisturize, I will apply also a little thin layer of oil to help seal in the moisture, as well as just unify my skin tone and my skin. I hair oil all the time, and this is how I keep my hair. Thick and shiny and long. So really don't sleep on hair oiling. So the 8 ways I'm wellness maxing in a city is when you're out in public and you feel overstimulated. A good way to reset your system, reset your nervous system, and reset your mind is by not having any music on your commute. This has helped me tremendously. After 5 to 10 minutes, your brain will just normally start to process things that happen to you. So I think that is very good to see how you truly feel about situation, how you truly feel about people, just seeing what works and what doesn't work in your routine. I think it's very important, and just being aware of your environment. And this costs $0. The 9th way I'm prioritizing wellness while living in London is something that is specific to living in a city, is using urban resources to harness creativity. So what I mean by that is we're in the age of consumerism, and everything that we see on our phones, we're constantly bombarded with information and content. So one thing that is good is to limit this intake and try to output, working with your hands, whether it's pottery, drawing, writing things down, or even making videos. I think, especially again as women, we have this creative power of, yes, creating life, but just we're creative goddesses. So what I mean by urban resources is I'm in an art history degree, so I go to a lot of galleries, going to communal spaces, going to parks, even hanging out with your friends, like if you were living somewhere very far and rural, maybe you wouldn't be able to see people all the time. But I think it's to take advantage of those things and just being off your phone and just really finding inspiration in everything around you. Because in a city, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of stimulus. So really harnessing that to create your own things. So we're almost to the end. I'm at my 10th ways. I'll just add up here a little total of what everything has cost so far. I'm sure it's very low because these are very cheap ways to feel good. I hope you will at least try some of them, if not all of them. So the 10th way that you can wellness max very cheaply is by eating healthy fats. Obviously my tricks are geared towards women a bit more because that's what I gotta work with. I know there's like this whole craze about protein recently, and like protein, don't get me wrong, it's really good for you, but so is fiber, so is fat. And as women, to balance our hormones, we need a lot of fats. So one thing that I've been doing myself is taking a shot of olive oil in the morning, and honestly, it really makes me feel energized throughout the day, and it's just a good way of having your healthy fats in. So I don't mean saturated fat. So where you can find healthy fats usually are in seeds like almonds and pumpkin seeds. You can find them as well as in avocado, salmon. So these are all very rich sources of healthy fats that you should be prioritizing, and I guarantee you, your skin is going to be better, your hair is going to be better, you'll feel better, and overall your life is going to be better. So my last tip, I don't want it to sound weird, but it's to touch yourself, massage yourself, learn how your body works. And if you have specific pain in specific area, like I have a lot of neck and shoulder blades pain, is you can start to massage certain places. I've been really getting into fascia release. I know it's been a thing in Chinese medicine, but it's basically where there's fluid in our body that gets stuck sometimes because of muscle knots, tension, things like that. So by releasing sometimes pressure points, it really, really helps remove that pain. And I don't know, this is like witchcraft, but I swear to God, if you struggle with neck and shoulder blades pain, usually comes from your arms. So there's this spot right here. This is where the nerve is and your bone, and you just massage this for a couple minutes, and it's gonna get rid from both sides, and it's gonna get rid of the neck tension and the shoulder blade pain entirely. So I don't know how this works. It's literally witchcraft, but we're little witches. And like there are like bunch of information like this. You can go on TikTok, you can go on YouTube, you can go ask your Chinese community, and I'm sure they will give you like good tips on where to massage for what. But the body is such an amazing system, and we should honor it. We should find ways to feel better naturally, holistically, cheaply. So yeah, so here we are. Everything is laid on the table for you. This is the final cost of what everything comes up to. I'm sure it's very cheap and very low. Please leave a comment if you have any questions. Maybe I didn't precise quantities, or you want to have recipes or more suggestions. So please leave a comment and I'll answer them. And yeah, I'll be making more videos of this series. Spread the love, guys. Be your little angel self.